shacks. Home sweet home was Jackson's track. If I only could, I'd turn the time back. Mix it with the lovers and the lumberjacks. Listen to the echo of the old broad axe. Rang through the hills of Jackson's track.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of Kurnai Konnection, and who do I have with me? I have another marvellous mullet, Trevor, otherwise known as Cat.
Thank you.
How you going today?
Good.
And you'd have to be very proud of your father, Daryl, wouldn't you, DA?
Yes, I am very proud of him. Yes, he brought us up in a working world. That's how it is, and it's been good.
And he did amazing things for the Kurnai people and many other Aboriginals too, setting up out at Jackson's Track, didn't he?
Yes, he involved them in work and got them to work and give them a place to stay, and they looked after them.
Fantastic. Now, today's episode, I suppose you'd remember the Ficafolia Festival.
Yes, I remember it. Yes, they done a terrific job of putting the floats together, and they all come together, the schools, and yeah, it was great.
Fantastic. Let's go and check it out.
Can you ring and say I'm going to be half an hour late?
The bundi, wave it around and look savage.
No.
No, don't look savage, just...
Where the pool is.
Oh, yep. So you're going to be up there?
Yeah, I'm going to lay everything up, put the artefacts on and... Just roughly.
Well, Sandy Mullet, here we are in Druin with a bit of nice bush behind us, and this is the day of the festival. How do you say it? Ficafolia or...?
Ficafolia, actually. So we're going to have a parade in the street. We'll be the second float. We've been asked to do, it's about farming this year, that's the theme.
What, for all of the festival?
For all of the festival, and ours is about fire stick burning, which is burning the bush. So we will have 15 people on the float. So it'll just be demonstrating how we make fire, why we use fire. There'll be pamphlets and things to give out and information. There'll be a display of artefacts, a house rectified, artefacts as well. There'll be bush tucker on there as well, and the trees, and it's all about managed fire. For the Kurnai people, for the whole of Australia, we actually use fire as to promote our habitat for the animals and for us.
Fly on your head then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well now, see, the ancestors, they actually farmed, didn't they? They actively participated in farming the country.
Yeah, like burning first and then digging sticks by the women.
Now, can we just get back to burning, because there was a method in this, apart from keeping the bushfires at bay, they would also burn areas so that the lovely fresh new grass would come back to encourage the wallabies and kangaroos.
That's right. And then after a while, the only thing that we never really agriculture at all, it's digging.
What?
Agricultural. What we do is digging. We use digging sticks. And digging sticks mean that when it's burnt or we're looking for undergrowth food, that we actually dig it up and take what we need and leave the rest there for next year, and all of the goodness that's been burnt is put back in. So we know when to burn, how to burn, whereabouts to burn, just to promote. It's about caring for country. It's about caring for our native animals and our and our food resources, because we have to, all of our bush is like a supermarket to us, so it has to be taken care of. Every animal in it, we actually, in our system, in the Kurnai system and every system in the whole of Australia, we have totems to protect and preserve. And that means that what we do is name for our corporation or our whole structure is to use birds and animals which are protected. In other words, if you've got a totem, you don't eat it, right? So if I've got a kangaroo, I can't eat kangaroo. If I've got a fish, I can't eat it. So not everybody's eating at the same time.
Yeah, so there's no
restriction.
No such thing as, doing in a species, is there?
No, that's right. So all species are protected. All the seeds are not allowed we've got rules and regulations as well. It means that all flowers have to be seeded. That means that they have to flower and seed. No one's allowed to touch it. So we know when to take it. It's all about preserving.
And being sustainable.
That's right, being sustainable as well.
Now, there's this idea in history books that the early Australians were savages. Now, this isn't the case, because a savage wouldn't be able to sustainably farm an entire country for 80,000 years.
Yeah, well, they've backdated it. I think they've found charcoal 70,000 years ago, so that's how long we've been burning the country. The other thing is that we have a system, we have a belief, which is to look after our country and care for country. The other things, we're botanists, we're pharmacists, because we use the medicines. We're also conservationists, we're archaeologists, we're a whole range of things.
You didn't rely on imports and exports from other countries, did you?
No, that's right. We didn't need to, because our environment's straight there, just like what the bush is. So it's about protecting those and making sure that that everything survives as well. So burning is an important part, because then you don't get the big bushfires that you normally would get because of the fuel level of the fuel that's already underneath it. So they burn at a particular time of year, and so part of the thing is that
well, you get the lovely fresh new growth too.
Yeah, you get the lovely fresh new growth. And it changes the environment. You might have things there that have been sitting dormant for a while, because Australian natives, they need smoke and they need fire to refuel them. So, yeah.
Very good. And now the white fella's done a pretty good job on this country. They've managed to sort of pretty much destroy it within less than 200 years. You know, you can't go past a successful job done for 80,000, can you?
No, that's right. And the thing with us is we don't cut down the trees, we actually scarred them. So in Gippsland themselves, there would have been huge big trees, enormous big trees. What I wanted to also explain is, because the introduce of new grasses, this fuel underneath just burns like anything, which the natural grass, it's a bit different, because it's big clumps of it, it's tussock grass, right, and the natural grasses, whereas if you bring the European in, it burns straight through.
That's right.
It's a fast burn. So it's all about your technique, when to burn, what time of the season, what time of the year.
Well, let's hope that the broad community, their eyes are open today, and they learn a lot about the fabulous management of this land by the first inhabitants. And I mean, look, let's face it, how sustainable, farmers can't even get a crop out of the ground without drenching it in the land in poison, can they?
That's right, yes. That's been a problem too, with the introduced of pesticide has killed a lot of natives off. We have got our own native raspberry. We've got native geraniums and things like that. With this pesticide, actually kills everything. And of course they've got introduced weeds and things that are here now. So yeah. And of course bringing their cattle in actually trod down the ground and eating out all the water holes, like dirty in the water holes, and of course with their imports, it's just no good for native vegetation, to be trampled down as much with hooves, because we've only got grazing like wallabies, kangaroo, emus and
none of this broad scale farming.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. I can't stick around for the float to go up the street because I have to go to work, unfortunately. But I hope you have a really good day. I'm sure you will. And just all this noise over the road has been getting the float out of its little quarters for the night, and you're setting up ready to go. So we better go and have a look, eh?
Yes, we will.
Thanks, Sandy. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, what I omitted to say was the theme of this festival was farming in general, and the Kurnai put together a farming-themed float. And one thing that struck me is that your sister Sandy said that the way the Aboriginals sustainably farmed it, the whole country was like a supermarket to them.
Yes, it is. You're right at that. You can go out and get whatever you want. There's fish and there's the kangaroos, wallabies and rabbits and whatever.
And you would have eaten a bit of goanna in your time?
Yeah, tried that as well, yes. Very well. It was very nice, actually.
Yum. All right, we'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Kurnai Konnection, and, well, we're back to the float, aren't we?
Are we?
We are.
I thought we were over it.
No.
That's not going to rub on the tyre. No, she's right.
What I'm going to do though, Sandra, when Brad drives it up, I'll fold it back over the logs, and then when we get there we can flap it back. Coloured tree and point it this way.
You're next. I've got nothing to say. Goodbye.
Stand it up and point so I can see it, face it this way. Just pick it up.
Pick the tree up. Yeah, the top one too beside it.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Don't use the string, move those bloody pantyhose that I bloody brought last night. Shut up. Oh, I told you that. Now what do you want to do?
Okay, Linda Mullett, now here we are at the float, and this is all very exciting, isn't it?
It certainly is, Chrissy. Yes, certainly is. It's been an up-and-coming event that we've been working on for a month, and we're all excited around being part of the Fissifolia or the Ficafolia Festival. And
Tomato.
Oh, well, that's it, yes. But it's around showcasing how long Indigenous people have been part of the environment, and also just to have the atmosphere in Druin that we've lived here for a long time. It'd be great just to be part of this community for the first time.
How exciting is that?
That's right.
And now you've put out a lovely brochure to hand out to sort of fill people in on different bits and pieces. And what's the legend of the fire? Or tell us.
Well, the legend of the fire, on the pamphlet we've got a little fire finch which is called the Bimbo Tawana. He tells the story of there was no fire for the Kurnai people, and there was these two nasty old women that had the fire, and it was up to this fire finch to he got involved with the two nasty old women and went travelling and camping with them, and what happened was he built up their trust, and they got confident in him, and they give him a go at the fire. And when he got the fire, he decided to tuck it under his tail and took it away to the Kurnai people, and that's how we believe that the fire had started here for the Kurnai people.
Well, how good's that? And I no doubt he's got a little red something under his tail.
Oh, it certainly has. He's got a red, and it's fiery all the time. So when he's around, he's the one that's important. He's the one that created the fire.
Well, how good's that? And now you've got a fair bit of bush tucker here. Now, wattle seed, that was used a lot for?
Crushing the seeds and eating the wattle seeds. So it was probably put in amongst the food and the flour and that sort of stuff, but it was eaten, crushed and ate. The seeds were eaten.
And and they're pretty hard things, because I've tried crushing some of those seeds with Sandy, and they are hard, but that's why you'd want good pounding
stone. So that's today we're on the float. We've got the pounding stepping stones to demonstrate that, and how long and hard the women work to get it to where it needs to be worked on. So it's not an easy process.
No, and the digging sticks?
The digging sticks are when we're going around digging the yam daisies, and yam daisies, which is like a tube, like a carrot type form, and like a potato really, and it's just digging for, you know, little lizards and that sort of stuff, but certainly the yam daisy was used, and that's the reason why we've got the digging sticks on for the women today.
And I noticed you've got some bundis as well, which that's what the common name. You'd need a bundi to keep someone away from your patch of little yam daisies, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's right, keep the men away. But yes, we certainly do have them. It's more for the bigger game, like the kangaroos and wallabies that were around that needed to be done. So,
or a bloke that stepped out of line.
That's exactly right. So it was used for bits and pieces, but certainly we'd hope to think that it wasn't, but I'm sure it was. Oh dear. Yeah, so we've got that on. So we've got bits and pieces and a bit of the different bush medicine that we've got on the truck, and the basket weaving, which we'll be demonstrating today on the truck, and it will give an idea of the community of what was farmed on beyond the fire stick farming. So all what we're doing, demonstrating today, is what's been part of the process of farming what we believe off the land.
Fantastic. Well, and I wish I could stay, but I can't. I've got to go to work. But there you go.
There you go, Chrissy.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Thank you. How'd it go? Cut.
Okay, now I better... Go on. Do your worst or best.
Ready?
Yep.
Basket on. Basket on. The whole...
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I got it. So what are those red things?
Kangaroo apples. There's our...
Oh, no, the crimson
Oh,
ones.
they're lily pillies. Lily pillies.
Oh, I've eaten them once.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
No, they're good. They're good for you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's lovely.
How's that? I don't know.
That's good.
It shows you how it started. But then our famous attic. Fix the tree up!
Welcome back to Kurnai Konnection. Now, Putty Dow'd have to be a good mate of yours, wouldn't he?
Yes, he is. My brother-in-law. Yes, he's very well liked.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what he's got to say. Now, Pud, back in the ancestors, they didn't have fridges and cupboards and things like that. So they had, they had bush tucker and the roots and the plants, but the rest of their tucker was actually still walking around, wasn't it?
Yeah. They killed fresh and ate it fresh,
Well, now, what I'm rather curious about is they must have had some pretty clever methods, because you wouldn't run after a kangaroo and catch it, because you'd get very hungry, thirsty and tired.
For sure. They were good hunters. they walked through the bush with hardly making a sound, so that's why they got food so easy, you know.
How would you catch a kangaroo?
Oh, I'd just sneak up on them and throw the spear at them, yeah. Or hit them in the head with a bundi.
Oh, yeah? So that's how the ancestors caught them, you reckon, just snuck up?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And emus, they run really fast, don't they?
Yeah, but they sneak up on them too. They got downwind and, yeah, they done all that.
And probably jump them in a big mob.
Well, they would have stuck a spear into him, he wouldn't have been going anywhere quick. Yeah.
And what about goannas? Like now out at Jackson's Track, they used to shake them out of the tree, but a goanna would tear you to bits, wouldn't it? How would you catch one in the wild?
Oh, they used to catch them by the tail. Yeah, it'd run straight after them. There was a few of them. Even the kids caught them. Yeah, a lot of fun, they thought.
And now, how would you cook a goanna?
Just on the coals.
Just chuck it straight on?
Straight on the fire. Burn the, scaly skin.
How big were the tribes? Because, like, if you catch a kangaroo, there's a fair bit of tucker in it. Would they just sort of... How big were the tribes?
It varied through the country. Like I said, out at New G, that was a small tribe. Actually, I honestly don't know how big they were. I haven't done the background on that. The biggest tribe in Australia, I couldn't tell you where it was. But there would have been big tribes. And, yeah, well, like you said, they would have took a lot of food to feed them, but there was a lot of food around in them days. Unlike today, there's not much food around. I couldn't live in the bush. There's no food there. They killed them off.
No, well, that's right. But if there was food there, you could creep up on a kangaroo or wallaby, could you?
With a gun, it'd be better.
Yeah, I know now. I'm like sort of creeping up on your creatures like that. I mean, that would have been serious, sort of hard work, you know?
Yeah. I remember Chock doing it back in the 60s. He'd go out with 3 bullets and he'd bring back 3 rabbits. He was that great a shot, you know. He didn't waste a bullet, you know. He was probably the greatest shot come off Jackson's Track, in what I believe. But sneaking through the bush, he told me to stop, and he'd go on and bang, and there was the rabbit, you know.
He would have been deadly with a spear.
I've never seen him with a spear. Yeah. As a kid, I reckon he would have made them, and we all done that kind of stuff as kids, yeah.
Well, Murray Austin tells that story about the first fight he ever saw Slim Lionel do, which was over someone flogging his bow and arrows.
Oh, right, yeah.
First fight I think I saw was Lionel and another kid, and it was over bow and arrows we all made, and this lad grabbed Lionel's and wouldn't give it back, so that was the first fight I saw Lionel do.
We all made our own bow and arrows in the reeds in Newham South. And, yeah, I got shot in the ribs from it. But, yeah, that was, good fun.
Yeah. Now, Putty said that your brother Chock was an absolute marksman as a hunter. You would have known that, of course.
Yes, he was a dead-eye dick with the gun, and that's for sure.
Fantastic. Did throw a few spears ever, do you reckon?
Oh, I dare say he would, of course. We all have in our career. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I've enjoyed today's show, and I'm sure you have too.
Yes, and we'll see you next week on Kurnai Connection.
Fantastic.
Civilization moving along. Jackson's Track has long since gone. It's gonna live in my memory. Home for my mama and my papa and me. If only could I turn the time back. Mix with the lovers and the lumberjacks. Listen to the echo of the old broad axe rang through the hills of Jackson's Track.
Stop! Stop!
I know the corduroy road ain't much to some, but you know, Mama and Papa and everyone lived in the buses.